Hi, good morning. It is Tuesday, the 11th of October. Last night I used oh my gosh, I can't even think this morning. Way I check news normally is I just kind of go to direct sources like breaking news or RT, AP, BBC, um, and I try to get direct news as much as I can from direct sources. But I noticed when I checked on breaking news last night that um, at the basketball game in Atlanta, um, that when they sang the national anthem, and I'm to the point where I don't care who I offend anymore. In fact, if I'm almost to the point where if I haven't offended you, then I don't feel like I'm really doing what I should be doing. So they had a bunch of sodomites sing the national anthem before the basketball game, and I think it was Cleveland and the Hawks that were playing, and these guys stood, I guess, hand in hand or arm in arm um, during the anthem, and I've heard the argument of people. Well, it's their First Amendment right of freedom of speech or freedom of expression or whatever kind of garbage that they want to try to use to justify this. Um, and I have to take issue with this, and I've thought about this a lot, um, because we are a nation that is based on individual liberty and individual freedom and individual rights. But what comes along with that is individual and personal responsibility. Um, and the flag, in and of itself, um, doesn't mean a whole lot per se. And don't shut me off yet because I'm gonna expound on this. It's just a flag in that it's made of cloth, but it's what that flag represents. That flag represents a nation that was founded by men and women who sought to live a life that was literally supposed to be in freedom, free from a tyrannical government, free from the made up, man made laws, um, you know, freedom from just being overburdened with taxes on every corner that we turn. We're just taxed to death. Uh, Freedom in thought, freedom in what we eat, freedom in where we go, freedom in how we live. It was designed to be a nation that you were as free to do anything you wanted to do except for harm another human being. That was really the only limitation placed on those freedoms, was do no harm. And it was freedom of religion, not from religion. Um, and the religion that this nation was founded on was that religion that's written in the Bible. Because if you go back to the founders of this nation, many of them quoted the scriptures. Many of them realized that the Bible was their source of truth. And even the original laws in this nation were based on the principles found in the scriptures, including punishments for crime. And so that is what the flag is a symbol of. When we think about what we're pledging allegiance to, we're not pledging allegiance to a government. We're not pledging allegiance to a person. We're pledging allegiance to a way of life that's supposed to be wrapped up in freedom, that's represented by the flag that has flown as a representation of that freedom. So when you misuse the flag, you're really saying, I don't want any more part of this freedom. And what's interesting to me is the people that make the most money and should have the most respect for the flag because of the fact that they've got the most freedom, because today freedom is found in money. And if you don't believe me, just look at what these people get away with, which is just criminal. I mean, they get away with stuff that you and I couldn't get away with because of their money. And so it's tragic that they use this flag as their stepping stone to desecrate the very freedom that they're using. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. You know, I support our military. I don't necessarily support the way our military is being used, but I support our people who are in uniform. Most of you who know me know that I'm a veteran. And you know, when I look back at the things that I did as a vet, I realized that I was not there supporting the Constitution. I was there supporting and defending the corporation, which is a big difference. And so as I look at this and as I think about where we have come as a nation, I'm extremely distressed. I can't believe that we have allowed ourselves to be so morally degraded that we now just allow this type of behavior to exist in our nation. And people would say, well, aren't you a little insensitive? Well, you know, I thought this was a nation of freedom. I thought this was a nation of do no harm. Here's the problem with all of this, guys. And anybody who knows anything about history knows that Rome fell due to lack of morals. And Rome has never actually completely fallen because Rome is still Rome. But they lost their foothold as a world leader or world government, mostly because they collapsed within due to lack of morals. And the United States has been somewhat of a world leader for some time, and mostly through military power, which, you know, we've been used as a police state, or used as the world's police force, and that's how we kind of gained the power that we had. But the thing is now here we are, and we're to the point where we have men who are playing with a ball, who are role models for children, and they are teaching children to disrespect the history of this country by disrespecting the flag, which disrespects the foundation on which this country was first founded. And I want you to think about this. You know, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic. We're a republic. We're not a democracy. We are 50 individual states under one constitution. That's why we are the United States. You know, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, Article 6 of the Constitution, paragraph 2, makes it very, very clear that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Yes, the 10th Amendment gives states rights, but also found within these documents is that if the states pass any laws to the contrary of the Constitution, they are notwithstanding, which means that they're null and void. And the problem is we have people who they will stand up and desecrate our flag, but they will not stand up for the Constitution itself, which gives the power to the people. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union. See, it's about us, ladies and gentlemen. And the problem is people today, and quite frankly, have not the balls to do what needs to get done. And that is to simply stand up and say no more. It does not have to be violent. It has to be done in numbers. If you would flood your city councils and your county councils with enough people to go in there and say no more, and when they tell you to sit down, say no, we're not going to. We are taking over the meeting. We are taking over our city. We are taking over our county. And listen, if you're afraid to stand up and speak, then just show up and be a part of the crowd. And let someone else do the speaking, because there's always someone who will. And that's something that we're working on in Marion County, Florida right now. Is we're working on establishing town hall meetings put together by the people in every single town in Marion County, so that when we go to county council meetings every other Tuesday, we can go there with signed affidavits from people saying no more because they can't make it to the meetings. And so the county council, a group of 5 people who think they're in charge of 360,000 people in Marion County, just do what they want to do, because silence equals consent. No more. But back to my original thought. To desecrate the American flag is to desecrate our freedom and our way of life. And why people want to do that is beyond me. I'm deeply distressed over this. And I hope there are others out there that feel the same way that I do. All right, man. Have a good day and be safe.